Good morning, children. In the last video, we were discussing about the fundamental rights which are offered to us by our constitution. About two fundamental rights we have already studied, that is right to equality and the right to freedom, and also the right to right of constitutional remedies also we have discussed. Now moving on to the next right. Now this right is right against exploitation. Now once the right to equality and right to freedom has been granted by our constitution, it also follows that a right should be given which protects a citizen against any kind of exploitation. So every citizen has a right not to be exploited, and the constitution has clear provisions to prevent the exploitation of the weaker section of the society especially. So the constitution clearly mentions three specific evils as given below, or I'll tell you them, and declares them illegal. So what are these three things that the constitution has mentioned as evils and have declared them as illegal? So first one is the constitution prohibits traffic in human beings. Now what is traffic? So traffic means selling or buying of human beings, especially women, for some immoral purposes. So this is prohibited. The traffic in human beings is prohibited. The second one is our constitution also prohibits forced labor or bagar in any form. Now what is bagar? Bagar is a sort of practice where the workers are forced to give their services to their master, that also free of charge or at a very nominal charges. Means there will be a master, and if you are a beggar, you have to work for that particular person. Whatever he orders you, you have to do that things, that also free of cost or at very low cost. And when this practice takes place for a very long period of time or goes on for a lifelong basis, it is known as bonded labor. You might have heard the word bandua mazdoor. So this begar is that same thing, that bonded labor is that same thing. So this practice of bonded labor or begar is prohibited in our constitution. And the third one is the constitution prohibits child labor also. So under this, no one can employ a child who is below the age of 14 years to work in any sort of factory or mine or any other hazardous work such as railways and ports. So child labor, the person child who is 14 years or below is not allowed to work in any sort of hazardous places. Like beedi making factory or firecracker making factory, matchstick, printing, dyeing, working in such factories is not allowed. So these are the three provisions which are mentioned in right against exploitation, and if any of this is being done with any person, then it will be referred to as a crime if any of such practices is being practiced by anybody. Now the next right is right to freedom of religion. So let us discuss this. So the right to freedoms also include the right to freedom of religion, and as we have already studied that India is a secular state. So secular state means India gives the freedom to all the religion and equal rights and equal status to the people following their own religion. And here in India, people also follow many different religions, and some people are there who does not believe in religion. So it is based on the ideas that the state is concerned only with relation among the human beings and not with the relation between human beings and God. So a secular state is one which does not establish any religion as the official religion. Like in our country India, there is no official religion. Okay, everybody is free to practice their own religion or follow their own customs. So our state is very neutral and impartial in dealing with all the religions. In our country, every person is given the right to profess, practice and propagate the religion he or she believes in. Every religious group that is free to manage its own religious affairs. They are free to celebrate their own festivals, follow their own religious customs, and but one thing is that the right to propagate one's religion does not mean that you have got the right to compel other or force other to convert someone's religion. You cannot force anyone to convert their religion, or you can't do any sort of fraud or inducement in the name of religion. But if a person wants by himself or herself to convert the religion or change the religion, that is his or her choice, but no one can force him to change the religion. And freedom to practice the religion does not also mean that he or she can do whatever he wants in the name of religion. For example, all the religious practices that sacrifices animals or human beings, such practices are not at all allowed. And religious practices which treat the women as inferior or which hurts or infringes women in any sort, they are not at all allowed. Like you cannot force a widow woman to shave her head. So such things are not allowed. And a secular state, as we know India is a secular state, it also does not mean that a secular state is giving any sort of privilege or favor to any sort of religion, and no kind of punishments or discrimination against people on the basis of religion are given. So the government also cannot compel any person to pay any sort of taxes for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious institution, and there will be no religious instructions given in the government educational institutions. So no government institution will try to promote any sort of religion. Such practices will not be done by the government. And the educational institutions which are managed by the private bodies or some personal institutions, so there also no person will be compelled to take part in any religious instructions unless he or she wants. So few important points are here in right to freedom of religion, that every person is having the right to profess, practice and propagate the religion. But there is also one condition, that you cannot force someone to convert the religion. If he or she wants on his own, then he can do it. Then the next point is that freedom to practice a religion also does not mean that you will do whatever you want to do. Such practices like to sacrifice the life of animals, जैसे कि बलि चढ़ाना होता है किसी चीज़ों की, भगवान के लिए बलि चढ़ाइए, तो ऐसी चीज़ों को बिल्कुल भी अलाउड नहीं है. और ऐसी प्रैक्टिसेस विच ट्रीट्स विमेन एज इन्फीरियर, जो विमेन के स्टेटस को नीचे गिराता है, ऐसी प्रैक्टिसेस अलाउड नहीं है. उसके अलावा गवर्नमेंट किसी भी तरीके के रिलीजन को कोई स्पेशल प्रिविलेज या फेवर नहीं देती है, ना किसी रिलीजन के साथ कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करती है. एंड नो टैक्सेस कैन बी कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम द पीपल ऑन द नेम ऑफ religion. And also no religion will be promoted in any government institution. Okay, so this is all about the right to freedom of religion. Now the next right is cultural and educational right. Now the Indian Constitution specifies the cultural and educational rights of the minorities. Now who are minorities? Minorities are the people who are living in some socially or economically backward situations, like the SCs, the STs, the OBCs. These are counted in minorities. Okay, because they are people living in less number, and some or at some of the other places it is being felt that they are not getting equal opportunities as others. So some special cultural and educational rights are given to such people. So some special provisions have been mentioned under this cultural and educational rights. So the first one is that any section of citizens who are having some distinct language or culture have the right to conserve it. It means that maybe some people are there, like the Parsis in India are very less in number, okay. So they are having their own distinct language, they are having their own culture, so they are having the right to preserve it. No other religion can come and force them to follow our religion. Like Hindus are in majority, so Hindus cannot force the Parsi people to change the religion, or they cannot impose their own religion on them. So any such minority group जिनकी अपनी खुद की एक अलग लैंग्वेज है, अपना अलग कल्चर है, उनके पास राइट है कि वो उसको प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं. Now the next one is that admissions to any educational institutions which are maintained by the government or they are receiving some government aid, they cannot deny to any citizen on the grounds of religion or language. It means जो एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस गवर्नमेंट चलाती है या फिर गवर्नमेंट से कोई फंड रिसीव करती है, वो किसी भी सिटीज़न को ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर रिलीजन या फिर उनकी लैंग्वेज के बेसिस पे किसी को भी ना नहीं कर सकती है एडमिशन देने के लिए, चाहे वो कोई भी रिलीजन हो, कोई भी लैंग्वेज स्पीकिंग पर्सन हो, बट यू हैव टू गिव देम एडमिशन इन योर एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. Next one is that all the minority groups, they are having the right to establish and administer their own educational institutions of their choice. सो माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप्स को ये भी राइट दिया गया है कि वो अपने एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस उनकी चॉइस के, जिसमें वो अपनी लैंग्वेज सिखाते हैं, अपने कल्चर के बारे में सिखाते हैं, तो ऐसे जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस है वो सेटअप कर सकते हैं. जैसे कि मुस्लिम्स आर रनिंग मदरसाज, सो मदरसाज आर ऑल्सो सॉर्ट ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस जहाँ पर उनके कल्चर को, उनके रिलीजन की बातों को सिखाया जाता है. तो माइनॉरिटीज़ के पास ये राइट है कि दे कैन ओपन एंड एडमिनिस्टर देयर ओन इंस्टीट्यूशन. बट and one more thing I want to tell you that minority does not mean religious minority only, okay. It also means people speaking a particular language in majority and people speaking a different language are in minority, okay. So I hope you are understanding my point. ऐसा हो सकता है कि लोग सेम रिलीजन के हो बट उनकी लैंग्वेज के बेसिस पे मेजॉरिटी माइनॉरिटी हो. मान लो कि 100 में से 95 पीपल आर स्पीकिंग द सेम लैंग्वेज, सो दे आर इन मेजॉरिटी एंड 5 पीपल आर हैविंग सम डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज और फॉलो सम डिफरेंट कल्चर, सो दे मे बी इन द minority. So one example is also given here. So Telugu speaking people form a majority group in Andhra Pradesh, but at the same time they are in minority in the state of Karnataka, okay. So Telugu people, if they are Telugu, they will not be minority at all the places. जहाँ पर एक स्टेट आंध्र प्रदेश में मेजॉरिटी जो पीपल है वो तेलुगु स्पीकिंग है तो वो मेजॉरिटी है, वहीं जो कर्नाटका स्टेट है वहाँ पर जो बहुत कम लोग तेलुगु बोलते हैं तो वहाँ पर वो माइनॉरिटी हो गए. So these three important provisions are there under this cultural and educational right, that every section of the citizens who are having their own culture, they can preserve it. All the educational institutions have to give admission and they cannot discriminate on the basis of language and religion. And the minorities, they are also having the right to establish and administer their own educational institutions. Now when I started explanation of the right, the first right I took was a right to constitutional remedies. So the same right is described here in detail. So the topic is how can we secure our rights. So under this right only comes the right to constitutional remedies. So we have studied that the fundamental rights are like the guarantees. So how will they be guaranteed if there is no one to honor them? हमने बोला है कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स को कोई भी वॉयलेट नहीं कर सकता है, अगर वो वॉयलेट करेगा तो उसको सज़ा मिलेगी, बट वो कैसे देखा जाएगा, कैसे पता चलेगा कि ये वॉयलेट हुए हैं, तो हम किसके पास जाएं? वो जो सारे प्रोविजंस हैं दैट इज़ गिवन अंडर द राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज़. This right makes are all the other fundamental rights enforceable, and this right to constitutional remedies, under this we are having the right to move to the High Court or to the Supreme Court if any of our above 5 rights are being violated. So this right it itself is a fundamental right, कि ये right कि अगर किसी ने हमको violate किया है हमारे बाकी fundamental rights को, उसके लिए हम कोर्ट जा सकते हैं, तो ये खुद अपने आप में एक fundamental right है. और यही जो right है वो है right to constitutional remedies. समटाइम्स इट में हैपन कि जो राइट्स हैं आपके वो कोई वॉलेट कर दे आपके राइट्स को, कोई आप सिटीजन्स कर सकते हैं, या फिर कोई प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन कर सकता है, या फिर कोई गवर्नमेंट बॉडी कर सकती है. सो व्हाट विल यू डू इफ़ दीज राइट्स आर बीइंग वॉयलेटेड? So there is a fundamental right called right to constitutional remedies, under which you can directly approach to the Supreme Court or the High Court of the state against this. So this is the reason that Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who was the drafter of our constitution, he has called this right as the heart and soul of our constitution. उन्होंने जो right to constitutional remedies है उसको डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ने क्या नाम दिया है? द हार्ट एंड सोल ऑफ आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. यही हमारी जो पूरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है उसका दिल भी है और उसकी आत्मा भी है, उसकी सोल भी है. ऐसा क्यों बोला है? क्योंकि अगर वो सारे राइट्स लिख देते और ऐसा कोई राइट बनाते ही नहीं जिसकी वजह से जो आपको ये पावर्स दे कि अगर कोई ने आपके राइट को वॉयलेट किया है तो यू कैन गो टू द हाई कोर्ट, यू कैन गो टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. सो ये सारे राइट्स का कोई यूज़ ही नहीं होता. इसीलिए दिस इज़ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट राइट अमंग ऑल दीज अबव राइट्स. नाउ व्हाट डज दिस राइट ऑफर्स? ये राइट क्या ऑफ़र करता है? ये तो हमने देख लिया कि हम हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक भी जा सकते हैं, लेकिन कौन कौन सी चीज़ें हैं जो अगर होगी तो वी कैन मूव. तो लेट अस सी. फर्स्ट, fundamental rights, they give us the guarantee against the actions of even the legislature, the executive and any other authorities they are instituted by the गवर्नमेंट. तो अगर कोई लेजिस्लेटिव बॉडी, कोई एग्जीक्यूटिव या कोई भी गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूटेड अथॉरिटी हमारे राइट्स को वॉयलेट करने की कोशिश करती है सो वी कैन मूव डायरेक्टली टू द कोर्ट. एंड देयर इज अंडर दिस राइट देयर इज़ ऑल्सो प्रोविज़न कि कोई भी लॉ या एक्शन गवर्नमेंट ऐसा नहीं बनाएगी जो कॉमन लोग हैं उनके फंडामेंटल राइट को वॉयलेट करे. And also one more provision is given that if any act of the legislature या फिर executive it takes away the limits of any of the fundamental rights, it will be declared invalid. अगर कोई ऐसा एक्ट लेजिस्लेचर या एग्जीक्यूटिव बना भी देती है जो लोगों के फंडामेंटल राइट को छीन रहा है या किसी भी तरीके से उनको वॉयलेट कर रहा है, तो ऐसी जो सारी एक्ट्स है या ऐसे जो सारे रूल्स है गवर्नमेंट के उसको इनवैलिड माना जाएगा. मतलब कि जो लोगों के जो राइट्स है वो दे आर इवन अबव द गवर्नमेंट. वो गवर्नमेंट, लेजिस्लेचर, एग्जीक्यूटिव सबसे ऊपर क्या है? द फंडामेंटल राइट्स आर प्लेस्ड अबव एवरीथिंग. सबसे पहला मोटिव होगा कि जो सारे राइट्स हैं फिर फॉलो हो, उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही सारी एक्शंस और रूल्स और सब कुछ बनाया जाएगा. सो आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस राइट. और इसमें एक और चीज़ होती है कि जब वी कैन मूव टू द हाई कोर्ट एंड द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, सो द सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड द हाई कोर्ट दे आर हैविंग द पावर टू इशू द डायरेक्शंस, ऑर्डर्स और रिट्स फॉर द एनफोर्समेंट ऑफ द फंडामेंटल राइट्स. रिट्स विल बी इशूड. व्हाट आर रिट्स? तो रिट्स एक सॉर्ट ऑफ पब्लिक ऑर्डर है जो कोर्ट इशू करती है. जब एक बार केस वहाँ पर गया है तो वो रिट्स इशू करेगी जिसके अकॉर्डिंग फिर एक्शंस ली जाएगी. So these are all the 6 rights. We have completed all of these rights.